Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here, and I am here to review the South Park special, South Park Joining the Panderverse. Now, I stopped reviewing the show just because we had other stuff that was, honestly a little bit more important to review. But this just looked too good to miss, and so maybe I'll go back and review that season. I don't know. Because with these videos, once it gets past a certain time, it's like people don't even care anymore, so why even make the videos? Because I honestly, a lot of the stuff that I watch, I don't even watch it for fun. This month, I watched, a handful of movies so far that I watched for fun, and, I really enjoyed watching those, and all those experiences were actually the best ones this month, and then I had a couple of fun experiences watching stuff for the channel, but, when you review stuff every day, a lot of it, you're just watching it to review, and so it's a little bit different of an experience. In this episode, I was actually excited to see this special, because it's making fun of all the stuff that it should make fun of, and all the stuff that we should criticize about modern Hollywood, about Disney, about all this disgusting, I wouldn't even call it pandering, I would just call it lazy ass, I call it cultural terrorism, because you're taking things and characters that everyone in America loved, and even all around the world, and you're destroying it. And you're purposefully, undercutting all the old messages and all the old stories, purposefully destroying characters, purposefully changing their gender and changing their race. I don't look at it as just pandering. I look at it as terrorism. Because when terrorists destroy, a landmark, or when they destroy a church or something, that's the same thing to me as, Disney destroying Star Wars. That's how I look at it, and I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. Because honestly, we would be in a lot better position right now if Hollywood hadn't destroyed all these properties and they hadn't have terrorized all of these beloved characters, because people don't have anyone to look up to anymore. They don't a lot of these properties, it's it just creates this environment of negativity, and just it ruins everything. It's there's nothing to like. Oh, I really like Goosebumps. Well, now it's a little bit harder of a time to do that because of those awful movies and the new show, and the censorship, and then the R.L. Stine saying that he's okay with the censorship. It's just awful. It's it's hard to enjoy things anymore, because it's oh, they'll probably destroy that next. Probably Killers of the Flower Moon, they made that really great movie now, but probably in a year or so, they'll make some other movie related to it, and it'll suck, and it'll just ruin everything. It's that Hollywood just can't stop ruining things. And this show really highlighted a lot of the problems, and basically it's kind of it's kind of like a mishmash of ideas about let's criticize the multiverse crap, which I hate multiverse stuff, really, really hate it. I really don't ever really think it's necessary, because it just creates this nonstop, oh, what if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? That's not how good stories are told. That's not a good formula to tell stories. That's a lazy formula so that you can make content. And so they criticize multiverses. They criticize AI. People, instead of just learning how to do things themselves, they just want to use AI for everything and use other people for everything. And so, but that part, I will say, the worst part of this whole special was the whole handyman subplot. Like, I gotta be honest, like, whenever Randy showed up on screen, or wherever the stupid handyman showed up on screen, I kind of zoned out, and I was like, this is trash. Like, this whole subplot with the handyman, like, I was not a fan. I would say, like, it would be hard to watch this special again, because, like, I don't want to watch that stupid handyman stuff. I really felt like it stuck out, and I felt like it wasn't really that necessary to the story, and that, you know, they could have been spending all that time that they wasted on the stupid handyman stuff on telling, like, funnier jokes about the main story going on. You know, and I know that some people will disagree, and that's fine. It's just that I personally did not like that stuff at all. I felt like it was like nails on a chalkboard. I felt like, please just let this end, and let's get back to the gender-swapped, race-swapped Cartman, and her dicking around with the South Park kids. So this story is all about, there's a multiverse that opens up, and there's a switcheroo where Kathleen Kennedy is sent to the Panderverse, or I don't understand, like, this alternate dimension, and it's really confusing, because that's the point, you know, it's very confusing, this stupid multiverse stuff, really dumb. And then, like, a gender-swapped gender-swapped Kathleen is sent to the real South Park world, and so she's the one who's responsible for, like, doing the really bad Disney movies nowadays, like the upcoming token Snow White movie that they're tinkering with so that they can try to salvage it when it's just going to fail anyways, because they cast a token Snow White, and she's not even Snow White, and she sucks too as an actress. And then, like, you know, the new upcoming Bambi movie and stuff. And then also Cartman got switched. And, you know, a lot of the comedy in the episode is with, like, Cartman reacting to stuff in this alternate dimension, because it's really, really ridiculous. But it was very, very accurate. Like, I felt like if South Park had been taken over by Disney, this is exactly what they would have done. Something like this. Because, you know, there was one really funny joke. I wrote some notes. Like, a couple of notes near the end. There was a really funny joke with KFC where Cartman saw the KFC sign, and they race swapped and gender swapped Colonel Sanders. That was really funny. And then a lot of the comedy as well as, but I did feel like the lesser comedy came from, besides the handyman stuff, the race gender swap Cartman in the regular South Park universe. She really, you know, I did think that she was funny. Like, she had a lot of funny jokes, but I really didn't feel like her character had good chemistry with the other South Park boys. And, you know, that was kind of the whole point, was how, like, this just sticks out like a sore thumb that Cartman is race and gender swapped, and that, you know, it's just not natural. It's just not a reality. And, you know, there's all these people who are like, oh, I'm totally okay with that. And it's just kind of a joke. Like, why are you okay with that? That's not Cartman. Like, it's just ridiculous. And, but she did have some funny jokes. Like, there's this one thing where she manipulated the boys into setting up this big fancy computer and upping the Wi-Fi speed and internet speed, and then it's all just a ruse so that she can keep playing Baldur's Gate 3. And I thought that was hilarious, like, because they thought she was gonna try to fix the multiverse, and she's like, fuck that shit, I'm not a fucking astrophysicist, or whatever, and she's like, I want to play Baldur's Gate 3, and then the funniest joke with that was, like, she thought that her save game was going to translate through the multiverse, so she thought that she could keep on playing her same save game that she was playing in her own universe. I thought that was also really good. And one thing I gotta say, too, is that one kind of aspect that I don't really think that the creators anticipated, or I don't really think they thought through entirely, because this really did just seem like a fun, thing that they decided to do, and, maybe they could have spent a little bit more time on it, I guess, but it was still really good. One thing was, all the versions of the South Park kids, they were all adults in the race gender swapped universe. So, were they trying to make fun, too, of, the transgender aging people, of, those people who say that they're babies and that they can't do anything because they're, they identify as babies? Is that what they meant to do, or was that just kind of, an accidental, thing that, because they didn't really explore that at all. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I kind of felt like the gender race swapped Butters was pretty attractive, but I was like, wait a second, I really shouldn't say that, because wait, but she's an adult. Her character in this show's like an adult, right? But wait a second, why is she Butters? So that really confused me. I was sitting there trying to do the Carmen from Hell's Kitchen mental gymnastics, trying to figure out. I guess I can't help it. They really never mind. But yeah, I kind of like race gender swap Butters. I kind of like her, but she okay, and I'm serious about that too. I don't know what they were intending with that, because they're not children. They're not children at all. These are all adult versions of the characters. And so I wonder if they actually thought about that or not. And then one thing I really didn't like, which I hope that this review hasn't sounded too negative, because that's not how I intend it to sound. Everything leads back to Tegrity Farms. For Randy. Randy thinks that the whole solution to all the problems is, we gotta go back to Tegrity Farms. And I was like, oh, God. Ew. As soon as they said the word integrity, I was just like, ew. 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 I just got the shivers just not wanting to go there. Tegrity Farms is the last place in South Park that I ever want to go again, because I just don't fucking care. And I even wrote in my notes, it all leads back to Tegrity Farms. Eye roll. But it really doesn't turn out to be the solution, except for Randy's own selfish reasons with the handyman problem. And so that's what I'm saying is that whole thing with Randy and the handyman, and then going back to Tegrity Farms, that was just kind of pointless. I mean, that was really a waste of time. And then also, I will say too, I was surprised that they didn't use Token to do any jokes. Because I don't even think that Token was hardly in the episode. And, it's surprising that in the episode where they're making fun of all this Hollywood tokenization, that they don't even use Token. I guess that might have also been purposeful. I'm not sure. It's you can do anything. It's South Park. You can throw shit at the wall, and some people will find it funny. Which, is there actually an episode where they throw shit at the wall and it's funny? Because that would be kind of interesting. Because I can't remember at all. There's so many episodes, and, most of them are good, and then the ones that are bad, I just don't even want to think about. The Tegrity Farms episodes. Ugh. Ugh. And then Kathleen Kennedy, the real one, she's going around the pandering dimension trying to get Cartman to help her. And this was the part where, I gotta be honest, guys, you really have to suspend your logic and reasoning with this part, because we all know that Kathleen Kennedy in this show is not like how she is in real life at all. Like, because the character that they have in the show, it's like this tragic figure where she was really trying to do it all right, and she was trying to just stand up and make good movies and make good entertainment, and she just got lost along the way. And it's like, that's totally not like what she is in real life. So when she goes up to Cartman and she's like, Cartman, I need your help. You gotta help me, please. You know what I would have said to Kathleen Kennedy if she came up to me asking for help? Fuck you! Like, fuck you for destroying Star Wars. Fuck you for destroying Indiana Jones. Fuck you for destroying all these properties and characters. Fuck you! I'm not helping you with jack shit. I don't care if the Antichrist has come to Earth, and the only way that I can defeat the Antichrist is by teaming up with Kathleen Kennedy. I don't fucking care. Let the Antichrist win. I would rather let the Antichrist win than work with Kathleen Kennedy. And so I'm sorry, but like, I don't understand why the hell Cartman would work with her. I guess it's because it's the show's Kathleen Kennedy, and it's not the real life Kathleen Kennedy. I guess that's the reason why he was like, he could see the good in that person. Ugh. I would never, ever, ever work with her, ever, 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 for anything, ever, 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 ever. So Cartman, like, he's got a soft spot. He's apparently a maturer man than me. Isn't that a twist? But then again, as I said, this is not real life Kathleen Kennedy that they have on the show. This is very much like a character who is conveniently like a very tragic person who's got a lot of personal issues, and she was just trying to do what was right. And it's like, yeah, right. And then also, she goes through her like origin story of like why she opened up the multiverse accidentally, because she used this Pander stone and it was actually an AI tool. And I will say that the funniest joke was Cartman said that this is the best explanation I've ever heard as to why all Disney movies suck now. And I was like, yeah, that's true, actually. That really is the best explanation that you could ask for, is like this tragic story of this person who is trying to make good entertainment. And it's like, yeah, right. Like, wishful thinking, wishful thinking with that shit. And then also, I guess the sort of the main message of this episode is that AI just helps people be lazy, and AI is actually really useless and it sucks. Because at one point, like, they had a picture of Kathleen Kennedy, and they had a picture of gender swap Kathleen Kennedy, and the stupid executives at Disney couldn't even tell the difference without this AI tool. And it's like, that's really embarrassing. But it's accurate. Like, I bet that they would be like that in real life. And, but I just feel like it was kind of conflicted messaging in this episode, and conflicted, like, storylines going on. Like, you're making fun of AI. You're making fun of multiverses. You're making fun of gender race swapping laziness bullshit in Hollywood. Pick one of them and do it really well. That's what I'll say with that. Like, even though this was really good for the most part, except for the handyman stuff, my advice would be pick one topic and do that topic really well, and then make another special about another topic and do that really well. Like, don't do this where you like kind of mishmash together different like topics to make fun of, because it was kind of like conflicting, some of the stuff in this episode. So but it was still really good. Again, Kathleen Kennedy ends up apologizing for being lazy and ruining all the properties, which she would never do this in real life, and destroying everything. And then Cartman actually apologizes for being lazy too, by only destroying quote-unquote woke stuff. And I felt like that this was also like something that was really good in the episode and that a lot of people are going to miss. You know, there's a lot of these what I call anti-woke YouTubers, and, you know, they're just complete and utter tools. All they do is just promote the very things that they hate. You know, like you see all these people, they're like, we're the first people in line to see the new Disney movie, and it's gonna suck. It's like, that's the types of people who are the anti-woke YouTubers. You know, they're just the worst. In my opinion, like, they're almost just as bad as, like, the YouTube reviewers who are just praise everything, you know, like the Colliders, the old Screen Junkies, you know, the Schmoes Know, Chris Stuckman, you know, people like that, you know, where they're just like, everything is good. I'm glad to live in the Hollywood echo chamber. Yay! I want to get my perks so that I can go to premieres and stuff. Yay! You know, like those people, they're bad, but they're slightly less bad than these anti-woke YouTubers who just, all they do is just make reviews and call everything woke. Like, they don't even actually know film or television or anything. They just call everything woke. And then all these idiots buy into their shit. And it's funny because a lot of those people, you know, I saw them on Twitter and they're like, oh my God, South Park just made this amazing parody thing. It was so hilarious. It was so on point. And it's like, they didn't even catch the part at the end where Cartman's like, I really apologize for being lazy too. And just criticizing everything because it's woke. Like, yeah, that's fucking lazy as hell. And all those fucking YouTubers who do that are lazy ass fucks. And I'm glad that the episode criticized them at the end too, because I don't like cultural terrorism, but I also don't like the anti-woke YouTubers because they're terrible. And then I will say too, they did kind of do the "you killed Kenny" bit at the end, and it was just kind of meh. It was like they changed some stuff around about it, and I really wish that overall that, like, the biggest criticism that I would say is that I wish we could have seen more of, like, all the gender race swapped, like, South Park kids, like the Stan and Kyle and Kenny especially, because I thought that they were really funny, and, like, especially their scene at the beginning where they're all at the bus stop, and, you know, I would give this episode a B+, because really, if I watch this episode again, I would just, like, cut out all the handyman stuff and just watch the rest of it and enjoy that. You know, like the whole handyman subplot, totally pointless and trash, and, you know, but other than that, it was pretty good. It was definitely enjoyable, and I will also say it was a strange choice to release this near Halloween. Like, they should have just waited to release this in, like, November, at, like, Thanksgiving time or something, because it's really not like a October thing. But anyways, I enjoyed it, and so please like this video and comment and tell me what you thought about the special, and then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest reviews, not just, you know, I just won't criticize something if it's woke. Like, that's not the only thing that I'll criticize. You know, I actually will criticize and, you know, go into details about why something's bad. I'm not just gonna, you know, pull a Nerdrotic and say, oh, that's woke, so it's bad. You know, so anyways, goodbye everybody, see you soon.